What's up, fam? This video is about why the black culture will not move forward. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of different celebrities, different people talking about why the black culture or what it needs to do to move forward and what it needs to do to improve. And all of them have good points. They make very valid arguments. But there's one thing I think that needs to be emphasized, of course, in my opinion, and I'm speaking from a productive standpoint. I'm talking as a person who has been productive and has produced results. And I'm speaking more as an educator rather than a hypocrite. So don't take what I say in a negative context. It is constructive, and I'm asking that it be taken and accepted that way. In black culture, there are a lot of things that as a productive person you can look at and say, wow, that's just not a good move. But just speaking on the topic of relationships, when it comes to relationships in the black culture, and I'm speaking in general terms. This doesn't apply to everyone, but in general it does. Growing up in black culture, you may grow up in a two-parent household. And if you're fortunate enough to have two educated parents, they may enforce the importance of education to you. And in your journey in becoming an educated person, man or woman, you'll find that studying and going up the ladder, the educational ladder, is satisfying as far as achievements go. You work hard, you study, you take tests, you pass. This is kind of a work hard reward type system. But there comes a time where those achievements have to be something that you value highly in your life. The order in achieving those results has to be valuable to you. This does lead to you becoming an honorable person, because in order to achieve results such as those in the educational academia world requires that you be orderly. You learn order. You value order. And in your valuing of order, you will consequently find out that the more orderly you are, the more fruitful you will be. Now, what will happen is you may discover that to be fruitful in this world requires you to be orderly. But when it comes to relationships in the black culture, those women or men, I guess it works the same way, but in particular black men who learn to become orderly and value order. And you get to the point to where you want to start dating. Now, there's no question about the attractiveness of black women. They are very attractive. Or they can be. But what you will find early on is that black culture doesn't promote and instill into their children valuing order. So they like to call some of the educated black men nerds or lames. I've heard this terminology thrown around in the YouTube world. But I will make the argument to those same gentlemen that it's not you. It's not. I know it stupefies you. It hurts you to learn that your value of order and your fruitfulness that comes from a result of your value of order isn't valued in your culture and in your communities. I know it. It's a really stupefying thing. You ask yourself, you say, how can the good results that you're producing not be something that's a criteria in selecting a mate? And it does come down to one thing. It comes down to intelligence. Okay, let me explain. You see, you've been orderly your whole life. You know, you study, you work hard, you got good grades, you're going to college, you're going to become a lawyer, astrophysicist, or whatever, you know. All right. You've got that down pat. But what you're going to learn is that in your culture and your people, that doesn't mean a thing. And it's because black culture doesn't teach and promote prudence. See, prudence means you have the ability to look beyond the surface of what's right in front of you. It means that you make decisions based on what is to come. Black culture promotes and teaches primal decision making. In other words, you make decisions based on what is physically appealing, what is emotionally stimulating to you right now. So what happens in black culture and why it doesn't progress is that decisions are made primally. They're made based on what is physically appealing, what is emotionally stimulating to you right now, and you hope for the best. See? You see, the process of moving forward here is completely backwards. And it does have a basis of lack of intelligence. See, to value prudence, to be able to look beyond what's right in front of you, to be able to look into the future, make decisions on what is to come, is intelligence. It's based on intelligence. See? The primal mind chooses based on the short term. See? Now, it isn't to say that the primal brain And the primal thinker can't be prudent. They can. But it has to be instilled in them. It has to be something that is valued around them. It's something that is important in their culture, in their environment. Making decisions based on prudence. See, it has to be almost second nature to them. See, so just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. You know, to progress this culture will require a value of order. And in valuing order, you need to understand that prudence is something that you need to put as a forefront of your decision making. So yeah, in black culture, you could be the best student, all kinds of accolades, achievements, and you may not be the best looking person, and your black women will look right over you. They'll look right over you. Now, what you'll learn if you look into some other cultures, one of my best friends is Indian, and his marriage was arranged. That's just part of their religion, part of their history. His father and mother were arranged, and so on. And what he told me was that it's done that way to remove the stupidity in the possibility of stupidity in decision making in choosing a mate. And I understand it. So those arranged marriages, even though it sounds a little off for American culture and our westernized way of life that we've been living, does have purpose. It has purpose because it removes a lot of the primal decisions that could be made without the arrangement. It almost forces intelligence to be part of the mating process. See. So, black culture, it won't progress. And the reason why is because the intelligence of choosing is going to take a backseat to primal decisions every time. You see, now you do have a very small percentage of black people choosing intelligently, and they're having children that are, going to be a little bit better off, have a head start in the game. Okay, but I'm not speaking on the minority here. I'm speaking of the majority. You see? So, yes, intelligence is important, and it needs to be put on the forefront of decision making in order to advance a culture. It will not advance any other way. It's impossible. So I'm up here in Washington, D.C. today. Taking a preparatory course, board certification. And I wanted to give that to you a little bit. just understand that if a woman, especially a black one, is interested in a productive man, your red flag should go up. And your red flag should go up because, in general, they choose primally. Yes. And if you know you're not that physically appealing, quote unquote, alpha male emitting type of man, but you're productive, you're fruitful, understand that she's being disingenuous when she's acting as if she's interested in you. And you're better off just not even entertaining